guys and gals? Nary here from Drake Wing Game, and Sylvie Mounts Twitter the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you in a Let's Play episode of Home Somewhere Else. So yeah, before we jump into it, just wanted to let y'all know that our Patreon is now up for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel, get some awesome rewards like permanent access to our community Discord server and full access to upcoming Not Safe for Work videos. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alrighty. Yeah, we've gotten stuff stolen from us in this very park, Mr. Chad. Thony pouts mournfully, probably thinking about all the fur knight skins he could have asked his mother to buy him. Really? I'm so sorry, Kathy. You scratch your head, dumbfounded by how common theft must be. It's all right, sweetie. I never go after them anyways. It makes you think of things differently. You may have it bad, but if someone is desperate enough to steal a little bit of money, maybe they have it a lot worse than you. Forgive me for assuming once again. Anyway, how long have you been on the streets? You're homeless, right? I haven't seen you around here before. Plus, you and your clothes have seen better days. Kathy looks at your wet, mud-splattered clothes, sunken eyes, and torn backpack. Even if you've been homeless for less than a day, you do look the part. You notice that Thony seems to be curiously staring off into the woods behind you. Whatever it is has his attention. You turn your attention back to Kathy, who's still waiting for an answer. Well, I've only been homeless for a few hours. And mainly because... Because of what? The events from this horrid day are too dour to recall. You just want everything to go back to normal. It won't, no matter how much you pray it would. Maybe... Kathy lifts Thony's new hat off his head, trying to get his attention. Hey! Thony quickly puts his hat back in place again. Kathy points at her box with coffee and winks as obviously as possible. He seems to realize what she's suggesting with a small grin. Is it because the cafes got your tongue? Ha! Gotcha! Thony air drums once again. You tilt your head, confused as to why they're laughing. It takes a few seconds to understand their pun. Once you do, you feel a little embarrassed. Nonetheless, it makes you laugh a little. Yeah, you're starting to feel somewhat better. It's the first time we've made that joke work. Thony makes a little jump and high-fives Kathy. Good job, sweetheart. Kathy looks back at you, a sincere and warm smile on her face. I know this may sound silly, but I have a good feeling about you. You seem like a decent, respectable guy who's been put into a bad situation. Plus, Thony is always good at telling who's trustworthy, and he seems to really like you. Yeah! Mr. Chad gave me this super awesome hat! The small kitten lifts his arms victoriously, a smile beaming on his face. Alrighty, it's settled then. You're gonna stay with us until you're back on your feet. That is, unless you really like this old park bench. Kathy lightly kicks it with her foot, coyly shaking her head. Let's get going. We've been under the rain for way too long, and you're absolutely drenched. You can't believe what she's suggesting. It takes a minute for you to process her proposition. Wait, what? You barely know me. I would never accept some random stranger into my house. Looks like Trust me, I wouldn't either, but I know you're a good guy. How do you know you can trust... Before you can argue against her offer, Thony grabs your hand, lightly tugging it with a smile. Well, I can use some help in return for you staying with us, and look at Thony. I've never seen him so happy. He has already made up his mind. There's no turning back now. But do you really want to stay out here? You're taken aback by their sincerity. You've never been shown such kindness, much less while being so vulnerable and meek. Thony moves your hand to make me move forward, so you start walking with them. Alrighto, amigo, let's go! You feel powerless to stop the kitten's light tugging, his hand firmly gripping two of your fingers. You hold onto your bags as the three of you make your way out of the snow of the now dimly lit park. You're not sure which direction you're headed, but you know the small town well enough. You recognize some of the landmarks you've passed through. The rain continues to pelt you, Thony and Kathy. The rain continues to pelt you, Thony and Kathy. Oh, sorry about that. You're not faring well as the cold wind begins to chill your bones. You try to walk at a faster pace, hoping to get somewhere warm. The walk is lined with some impressive-looking homes. This is definitely the nicest part of town. The two finally come to a stop in front of a small, quaint house. Well, here we are. Home sweet home. Kathy stands in front of the entrance, grabbing her keychain and unlocking the door. She holds it open for you and Thony. The small kitten glides inside enthusiastically. You're still unsure about this whole arrangement. Don't be shy, just hurry and get in. With your head down, you slowly enter through the door. You step inside with Kathy behind you. She closes the door and turns on the lights. You're greeted by a living room with a couch and chimney. You can tell that a lot of happy memories have taken place here. The room feels lived in rather than just decorated. There are toys in corners of the room, a mug and 2 plates on the coffee table, and some drawings and homework assignments next to them. It's a home by every definition of the word. Kathy then takes off the straps of the vending tray from her shoulders, followed by her scarf and her jacket, leaving the 2 pieces of clothing hanging on the wall. Thony took off his soaked jacket as well, but left it on the ground. The mother cat picks it up with a quick shake of the head, placing it lovingly on a coat hook. You can leave your stuff over there if you'd like. Kathy points at the large 3-person couch in front of the fireplace. It's an inviting proposition that you don't turn down. Hey, sweetie, you know what to do. Alrighty, Mom. Thony zips back to his mom, receiving the now mostly empty vending tray. Let me light up the fireplace. We all need to dry off some. You place your bag on the couch as she throws some logs into the fireplace. You remain standing despite how weary your body feels, worried about messing up the leather seats. Funnily enough, the log bag has your now former company logo on it, Cool Logs. Oh, you got those from Cool Logs? So, water time. Alright, y'all, and we are back. Alright. Yeah, they're great and smell wonderful. Why do you ask, though? Well, I'm the guy who chops them. Well, you used to chop them, but I got fired today. Right, you told us you became homeless just a few hours ago. What happened? Before you can continue, Thony enters the room with Kathy's lighter, handing it to her before going back into the kitchen. Thanks, honey. Kathy ignites the tinder under the log. It doesn't take long for a fire to form and warm up the room. Kathy seems pleasantly satisfied with the flame, dusting her hands off before turning back to you. You go on and get cozy, sweetie. I'll make us all something warm to drink. I want chalky milk. Oh, God. What about you, Chad? I have milk, tea, and, of course, coffee. Pick whatever you want. Oh, don't worry about me. I'll be alright. What about you, Chad? Her deep tone and gaze pierces your soul. Tea is good, ma'am. Thank you. Alrighty. I'll bring something to munch on, too. Kathy makes her way to the kitchen with a small spring to her step. You hear the sound of mugs being placed on the counter. Tony slides 2 chairs from the kitchen table toward you, positioning them in front of the fireplace. He hops on one of them and pats the other seat while smiling at you. Here you go, Mr. Chad. If you get too hot, you can move the chair back. Thanks, Thony. You can't help but smile at Thony's eagerness to make you feel comfortable. The flame begins to envelop you in a soothing heat. Your chilled bones begin to thaw in the fire's glow. Mr. Chad, the best way to enjoy a chimney is with the lights turned off. Thony rushes to the light switch and turns the lights off. The room, now only illuminated by the warm light of the fire, gives you a sense of ease. Kathy walks up behind the two of you with a set of filled cups and snacks. Thony eagerly accepts his tall glass of chalky milk. Kathy then hands you a pleasantly hot cup of tea. Your fingers begin to thank you as they too begin to warm up from the cold. Thank you so much. Your lips are greeted by a sweet and strong mint flavor, making your tongue tingle and lungs open up. The pleasant tea gives you a second wind after everything that's happened today. God, this tea is excellent, Kathy. Mint flavor is one of my favorites, but this is probably the best I've ever had. I'm glad you like it. It's from my personal garden. Just be sure not to eat the mint leaves. Will do. Thank you for the tea. Don't thank me just yet. A cup of tea isn't complete without some cookies. Your eyes widen as Kathy hands you a dish with assorted cookies. The warm sense of sugar, lemon, and cinnamon makes your heart skip a beat. You take a bite of a sunflower-shaped biscuit. A symphony of sweet, citric flavors makes your mouth buzz in delight. You made these? These are absolutely delicious. Thank you. Kathy chuckles as you voraciously finish the cookie, stopping in between bites to indulge yourself in the flavor. Who knew heaven could be so small? I'm glad you love the cookie as much as I love baking. I'm always excited to make sweets for Thony, so don't be surprised if I send some your way too, honey. Yeah, my mom makes the bestest sweets in the world. You're right, and you're my favorite sweetie in the world. Thony smiles in delight, but soon Kathy turns to you expecting something. Alright, 1 second, y'all. Alright. That being said, I'm ready to know what happened to you. The mother and son turn their attention to you, eagerly waiting for you to explain your predicament. Right, where do I begin? You start from the beginning and paint a picture of what might be the unluckiest day of your life. You try to tell them everything they need to know, being careful to skip the unnecessary parts like Toto's 3-hour-long conversation with himself, or the fact that you were naked while trapped in the bushes. When you get to the more unusual details, you were expecting them to scoff or feign interest. However, they never seem to doubt your words, fully enraptured and even sympathetic to your experience. You just met them today, so you do your best to balance honesty with brevity. Soon there are no more words to be said. The room grows quiet. That was... Good Lord, I'm so sorry, Chad. Kathy lets out a deep sigh as if she was holding her breath throughout the entire story. Thony has a puzzled look on his face, holding his now empty glass. What was in those bushes? I'm kind of scared. I'm gonna lie, I was scared too. I don't even know who or what that could have been. I don't think I'll ever want to go to the Force alone again. Thony, you're granted from going into the Force by yourself. Thanks, Mom. The small kitten looks relieved, probably the first time you've seen someone happily accepting a punishment. And Kathy rolls her eyes while smirking before looking at you once more. And they just threw your stuff out into the street? That's scummy. They could have waited for you to come back or called and texted you at least. Well, I wish they would have waited because... You scratch the back of your head in embarrassment, knowing one of them is going to cackle at you. I actually don't have a phone, so they couldn't have been able to call me anyways. Really? Well, we can fix that later if you'd like. You tilt your head at Kathy, who was remarkably nonchalant about the topic. I'm glad you made it through all that. Sounds like you've had quite a day. Yeah, but I'm happy we were able to save you, Mr. Chad. Thank you, guys. I really don't think I would have made it without you both. Is there any way I can repay you? Don't worry about it, honey. We can figure that out later, but for now you need to rest. Kathy pats your shoulder with a warm smile. Thony sprints to your side, jumping with excitement. You could buy me some ice cream if you want to. You've got yourself a deal. Yay! You can't help but chuckle at the kitten's enthusiasm. You hope there's some really nice ice cream places for the little guy. You feel happy, genuinely happy. It's almost surreal to you considering what it's been like today in the past few months. It's almost too much for you to handle, but you stay strong. Kathy is slightly startled as she looks at her watch. It seems to be a bit later than she expected. Alrighty, it's time to head off to bed, everyone. Especially you, Thony. I'm going to wrap things up here. Chad, honey, your clothes still aren't dry yet, so go to your room and take a nice bath. Try not to stay up too late or you might catch a cold. And feel free to use anything in that bathroom. Everything in there is yours. Thank you so much, Kathy, for everything. Really. You're very welcome, Chad. Second, y'all. It is, in fact, water time. Alright. Kathy gives you a warm smile before turning to Thony, who is ready and attentive by your side. Can you take Chad to his room, sweetie? I'm going to clean up here and then give you your goodnight kisses. Sure, Mom. Please follow me, Mr. Chad. Good night, Kathy. Good night, Chad. Sweet dreams and sleep tight. I can't remember the last time that someone wished me a good night. Your heart flutters with warmth. You can't help but smile as you follow the tiny Thony. You make your way down a corridor of rooms, arriving at the door at the end of the hall. Oh, nice. You're taken aback as Thony pushes you into a large wooden door, revealing an exorbitant room bathed in warm light. This is the best room. You're so lucky, Mr. Chad. You're greeted by a massive mattress laying on an ornate bed frame. 2 wooden nightstands sit at the bed's sides. A deep closet sits next to another wooden door. Before you even finish appreciating the room, Thony grabs your hand and pulls you to the room next to the closet. He opens the wooden door next to the closet, making jazz hands after he flicks the light on. Ta-da! You have your own bathroom, too! As my mom said, feel free to use everything here. And please take a shower. You're a musky husky. Hold on, where on earth did you hear that from? The internet? You shake your head in embarrassment, a chuckle slipping past your tired exterior. Please sleep well, Mr. Chad. I've never seen someone who could use a good nap like you do. Tomorrow looks like it's going to be busy for you, Mr. Chad. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. And thank you to our gold tier patron, Amr. Thanks for subbing to our ultimate tier. You're awesome. We love you. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.